My name is Kevin Fernandez, and welcome to my channel, Genie. Today, we're going to play the economic fantasy game, Oh Gnome You Don't. This 2 to 6 player game designed by Lisa Stenson and published by Bustin Games. Players take on the roles of the gnomes, as promised in the title, and obtain gems through selling goods or through brawls with their fellow gnomes. Now, whether they obtain the gems through a good way or a bad way, or just sit around and do nothing, let's see how it goes. So join us at the table as we learn to play Oh Gnome You Don't. Draw cards from the draw deck. Separate 2 cards with green titles per player. So for example, with our 2-player game, we need to separate 4 green cards with green titles on them, and then shuffle the remaining draw cards and place them in reach of all players by the board. Place the gems in the gem mine. Then each player chooses a gnome and places him on the starting position. Knowing Jordan, she'll want to be Dave because he's blue and that's her favorite color, and I'll be Barney. Designate a discard pile somewhere off the board. When the draw pile is exhausted, shuffle and reuse. So I would just say the discard pile can either be on the left side or the right side of the board, and me and Jordan will discuss that when we actually are playing the game. Brawling involves a little more strategy and interaction. Gamers certainly include brawling. Each player receives a set of 10 brawling cards. The brawl cards are the color coded. The green gnome gets the green set, etc. Brawling may take place when sharing a trail space with another gnome, and typically, if at least one of the gnomes has gems, if brawling, have the nerd stay until the end of this video, and I'll explain how that works in the advanced rule portion of this video. If you are not playing advanced rules with brawling, put the brawl cards aside. Also, the following draw pile cards directly referring to brawling may be set aside when drawn, and another card drawn instead. Nip of gin, dirty trick, and pull my finger. And that completes the setup. The shortest player goes first. Play continues clockwise and follows the pattern: roll, move, play, draw. Come on, folks. You at home, chant with me. Roll, move, play, draw. Roll, move, play, draw. Roll the die and move your gnome on the trail that many spaces. Play 1 card if you have a playable card. Green is items, purple is actions, red is interrupts, remedies, or attack. Play a purple or red card as described in the text on the card. The exception: when entering one of the 4 businesses, a gnome does not play or draw a card. Draw a new card to end your turn. Green cards feature the items that gnomes gather and make along the trail to sell at the 4 businesses. In order to sell an item at a business leader, a gnome must play the item on his turn. How is this done? Place the card face up on the table in front of you and leave it. This is called tabling, and make sure to announce it to the other players. Green cards include food and non-food items. Purple cards text describes what action takes place as a result of playing the card. A gnome may play a purple card as the 1 card played on a turn. Card text takes precedence over the rules. If an action allows a gnome to collect gems from the gem mine, always collect gems in the largest denomination possible. Discard action cards when their effects have expired. Red cards are played to interrupt an opponent's gnome's turn, to attack an opponent's gnome, or to defend your own gnome. The red cards are not necessarily played on a gnome's turn. Some red and purple cards can be blocked by an "Oh Gnome You Don't" card. Once played, red cards are discarded. Cards in players' hands are safe as they are not in play yet. If an attack targets a tabled item or gem, tabled items are discarded and gems go back to the mine, and typically not to the card player. If a gnome does not have enough gems or tabled items when being attacked, he gives what he has. Interrupt cards do just that. They interrupt the gnome's turn or action. Incidentally, an "Oh Gnome You Don't" card may be played to cancel another "Oh Gnome You Don't" card. The Grub and Grog, Gnome Depot, the Toadstool Cafe, and the Tinkerer's Cart. When entering a business, except for the Tinkerer's Cart, roll, number 1. Number 2, move into the business. It does not require an exact roll. So if you rolled a 5 and you were only one space away to the Grub and Grog, you could just walk right in. And of course, number 3, you get to sell items and collect gems. That's the goal of this game. Change up gems or just have a wee little rest. Rolling and moving to enter a business ends a gnome's movement. Tabled green card items are sold for the value of gems listed on each card, then the cards are discarded. Some items are worth more gems as a bonus identified on the card, depending on which business the gnome is visiting. Gnomes may wait until later to sell a tabled item if it will fetch a higher price at a different business. When selling items at a business, total up for all of the items being sold and take gems in the largest denominations possible. The gem mine may be used to make necessary change later, but collecting must always be done using the largest denominations. So I'm going to add a little example here. If I was at the Gnome Depot, I can sell my little baby field mouse for 8. But if I still was at the Grub and Grog and I wanted to grab some quick cash, I can still sell it for only 6 though, because it's not, it doesn't sell for a higher price. A card is not played down or drawn on a gnome's turn when in a business. A gnome must roll and move on his next turn. No loitering. A gnome may also stop into a business to change up items, to consolidate them. Gnomes may never change up gems unless at a business, but they occasionally must take change out of the gem mine for a brawl or a payment. To make change, gnomes must break down what is needed, not change down to smallest as a strategy. Gnomes can bypass the business and finish their movement on the trail. Gems must be kept in plain view of all players. No hiding treasures. Gems are valued in units of 1. When collecting from the gem mine, a gnome collects gems in the largest denomination possible. If instructed to take 3 gems from the mine, a gnome would take 1 blue gem, which equals 3 gem units. It sounds nerdy to always say 3 gem units. On 4 of his turns, a gnome has tabled green cards. Honey for 4, and firewood for 4 more gems. Field mushroom for 3 gems, and truffles for 6 gems. The gnome chooses to sell them all at a business for 17 gems and collects 1 gold, which equals 10, a red, which equals 5, and a black, which equals 1. A gnome can combine his new gems with his previously earned gems to change up. If they already had 3 gems when they arrived at a business in sold items worth 17 gems, they can trade up with 2 gold gems. So, in case you guys are wondering, the units are of course in 1. If you have a black gem, that means you have at least 1 gem. Blue gems are 3, red gems are 5, and yellow are 10. Alright, so at the tinker's cart, gnomes may stop and barter to determine the value of gems to collect for each tabled item. The gem value of the item noted on its card is disregarded. Bartering is done by rolling the die. For each tabled item and collecting that value in gems. Other businesses' rules apply as usual. Note: any tabled items remaining unsold upon finishing the trail will be redeemed for half the price, rounded down. A gnome must land exactly on the slug slime space to slide over the slime to the other side. The space on one side plus the slime plus the space on the other side is 1 stone of trail. Guarded by the nasty troll, the bridge is a dangerous area. When a gnome approaches the bridge, he pursues his movement to decide if he will pay 5 gems, so that if you weren't paying attention, that is a red gem, to cross the bridge to the stone on the other side and continue his movement, or if he'll bypass the bridge and go on the trail behind. A gnome can only pay what a gnome can pay on the trail behind. The gems and items lost go back to the gem mine and discard pile. If discarding half of your hand randomly rounded down, if ever a gnome is sent back to a stone space before the troll bridge, they must pay again. Wah, wah. If they choose to cross the bridge, mild cruising would be in order. Every gnome completes the trail to finish to arrive at the gnome cottage. The lovely Gnomelina awaits. The first gnome at the cottage will receive 8 gem bonus. The second gnome to arrive at the cottage will receive a 5 gem bonus. The third will receive a 2 gem bonus. The fourth gets nothing. The fifth has to pay Gnomelina 2 gems, and the sixth has to pay her 4 gems. Sucks to be last. No card is played or drawn once finished, and no actions may be played to affect a finished gnome. Cards in hand are discarded, but the remaining tabled items are added up together and are redeemed for half of their regular gem value. Rounded down after finishing, gnomes count their treasure. The gnome with the most value in gems wins the game, and the lady gnome, Gnomelina, is his new bride-to-be, as she is very fond of gems. Well, we made it to the end, and as promised, you nerds get to learn how to do brawling. So, first of all, each gnome, as I have stated in the beginning of this video, has 10 brawl cards of his gnome's shirt color, numbered 1 through 10. At the beginning of the game, brawling may take place whenever two or more gnomes share the same trail space on the board. Any gnomes sharing the space may elect to brawl, no matter whose turn or how they got there. If the gnomes are sharing a space as a result of a die roll, the brawl takes place before a card is played. A brawl may also take place after playing a card that moves gnomes together. Gemless? At times both or all players on the space may elect not to brawl. If they all agree not to brawl, they just enjoy a chat and a chuckle. Ha 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 ha. And move on. Yes, to brawling. If one or more gnomes decide to brawl, the players each look at their own brawl cards, select one card, hold it out, face down until both or all involved have selected their brawl cards, and then expose the cards all at once. Count 1, 2, 3, and announce the title of your gnome brawl card. The height numbered brawl card wins the difference in gems for other games. So this is 10. It's the highest you can possibly go, not height. And this gives someone a wedgie. Ouch! So like I said, each player gets cards designed for their own color. But right now I currently don't have Dave's cards. So let's just say Dave decided to play it safe and decided to just give a little ear flick. It's annoying, but not good. But let's say me as Barney decide to give a little headbutt. Well, this is an 8, and as you saw, ear flick is a 1 card. So therefore, Jordan would have to pay me the gems. But if she doesn't have the money, she can just give me what she has. Items or gems. More than 2 gnomes brawling? The winning gnome collects separately from all involved. Exception. If there is a tie for winning a brawl between more than 2 gnomes, it is solved with a die roll. The gnome with the winning die roll collects from all but the gnome with whom he rolled. Well, that's all you need to know for brawling, but if you think that's a little boring, there are also some optional rules, such as a tie between 2 gnomes in brawling. Nothing happens, no hard feelings between gnomes, and just a little chat and a chuckle. Ha 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 ha. The brawl cards are discarded. No brawling at businesses. That's bad manners. Brawl cards are discarded after use. Each player keeps their own brawl discard pile. Keep the discard brawl cards face down and do not show them to other players as they are used. Keep your hand of brawling cards to yourself out of brawl cards. The gnomes lose every brawl with a 0. Dang it! If gnomes are brawling and the losing gnome cannot pay, he must forfeit a green item card to the winning gnome, if he has one. A gnome cannot leave a business with more than 5 cards in their hand. They must discard down to 5. Allow brawling in the grub and grog only because it's funny. And that's all you need to know to play Oh Gnome You Don't. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button plus the notification bell to make sure you get all of our upcoming videos. I will see you in our next gameplay video on photosynthesis, as well as the gameplay video on Oh Gnome You Don't. But until then, thanks for the views.